Moving on now, and healthcare startup HeraMED has successfully listed on the ASX with a $6 million capital raising. Earlier in 2018, the company executed a binding distribution agreement with Nasdaq-listed pharmaceutical company Teva, and I'm joined at the desk now by its chairman, Ron Weinberger. It's great to have your company on the program, Ron. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much for having me.
For those that don't know, and I should say HeraMED's up about 5% today at about 19.5 cents, but for those that don't follow the company, what does HeraMED do?
HeraMED, first of all, is an Israeli company, and it makes a fetal heart rate monitoring solution. It's a device, but also solutions and services as well for pregnant mothers.
So in terms of, I guess, the product and listing on the ASX, as you say, an Israeli company, why list here on the ASX?
Well, I think from the founder's perspective, it's a very stable economy. The ASX has a very strong reputation for governance and credibility. It's a fantastic launching pad for Asia, and Australian investors do understand the medtech and healthcare sector very well.
So in terms of $6 million in proceeds, what do you plan to do with the money you've raised during the IPO?
Sure. Essentially, the money is going to be directed towards further R&D for some of the pipeline technology and product, but largely for sales and marketing in order to be able to advance the commercial side of the business.
Talk us through, I guess, the competitive advantage of your particular product, because you do hear about a lot of these sort of products on the market, sort of copycat products. How do you sort of differentiate?
Well, I think that the most important aspect of it is that it's clinical grade, it's medical quality, it's the type of data and information that is actually supplied from the hospital devices, which is the state of the art. So I think that's very much the first part, and also the second part is about providing analytics and information, not just for the pregnant mother, but very importantly to extend the capabilities of the clinician and to be able to produce better outcomes.
We were just speaking with Chairman of HeraMED, Ron Weinberger, and I just want to continue our discussion because this is a company that listed on the ASX recently, $6 million, and it is somewhat a pregnancy-related tool, I guess we could say. But I guess the other question that I had about this is with safety concerns, because obviously the issue is, I guess some people may use it in replacement of a doctor. How do you sort of deal with that from a company perspective?
Well, first of all, there's very strict guidelines as to how the product needs to be used and should be used. So it all comes down to the information for users and what's required by the regulatory authorities. So it's very closely supervised, and a lot of effort has gone in to make sure that the pregnant mother understands that this is a tool to work with the clinician in order to improve pregnancy outcomes and also to make her more aware of her own physical wellness and well-being.
Now, a commercial launch, I know in Australia you're expecting, I think into next year. Is that on track, and what is that predicated on?
The commercial launch is going well. The TGA has just recently approved the product, so we are looking at the moment for distribution partner. We're in negotiations and discussions, and we're hoping to roll it out in early 2019. And
you said Australia's a good springboard for Asia. Is this somewhere that you're actively looking at expanding into? Absolutely.
I think there's a huge population, a lot of pregnant women, but there's also a very large growing market and definitely some demand.